Resourceful Designer, episode 291. How precise is your writing?
Welcome to the Resourceful Designer Podcast, offering solutions to streamline your graphic and web design business so you can get back to designing. And now, your host, who used to continue playing with the Lego long after his son went to bed, Mark DeCote.
Come on, you know you do the same thing. I mean, Lego isn't just for kids. Am I right? Anyway, this may end up being another short episode, but I think it's an important one, and one that if you don't pay heed to, may be causing you to lose potential clients without ever knowing it. But before I get to that, I want to share some exciting news for website designers. More specifically, for anyone who uses Divi from Elegant Themes. Now, last week, Elegant Themes introduced Divi Cloud. And as they put it, Divi Cloud is like Dropbox for your Divi websites. When you save something to Divi Cloud, it becomes available on every website you build. Now, the ability to save sections, rows, and modules to Divi Cloud is going to be a game changer when it comes to the speed and efficiency of building websites. But what's even cooler is the features that are coming soon to Divi Cloud. A look at their roadmap shows that you'll soon be able to save your theme settings and options, your builder presets, plugins, and so much more to the cloud. But there are 3 coming soon features that really excite me. 1, the ability to save code snippets to the cloud. This will make it super easy for you to access all those CSS codes that you use over and over on different websites. You'll be able to just download them from the cloud and put them on right away to whatever website you're working on. The second one that really excites me is third-party integrations. This will allow you to save content from non-Divi related plugins to the cloud. Imagine you're using something like Gravity Forms. You have a contact page or a contact form that you've created in Gravity Forms. Well, you'll now be able to save that to the cloud and download it on the next website, so you don't have to rebuild that form from scratch. I can't wait for this feature. And third is website exports. Soon, you'll be able to upload an entire website to the cloud for easy deployment when you build a new website. Now, in my case, I'm really excited about this because for my podcast branding business, I use a website template. I built a website specifically for podcasters, and anytime somebody buys a website from me, I use that. I have a backup of the website, and now what I have to do is I have to upload the backup and install the database and do the whole thing, and then the website's built. Well, with this new feature coming to Divi Cloud, I'll be able to just install Divi, click on Load from Cloud, and voila, the entire website will be there ready for me to start adjusting to whatever new client it's going to be for. This is going to save me so much time. I was so excited when I heard about Divi Cloud that I purchased it right away. I got the email, I watched the introductory video they had, and I just said I was sold and I bought it. Now, they do offer a free version for Divi users. If you're already a Divi user, you can get the free version that allows you to save up to 50 items to the cloud. But with the paid version, you get unlimited items, unlimited storage. And to me, that made it a no-brainer. Now, since Elegant Themes, at the time that you're listening to this, if it's right after the release, is currently celebrating its anniversary, which means they're having a sale right now, you can save 40% off your purchase of Divi Cloud. Simply visit resourcefuldesigner.com/Divi Cloud to learn more. And if you're not already a Divi member, that link will let you register for a Divi membership as well, and you can get on board. So once again, that's resourcefuldesigner.com/Divi Cloud. And now, how precise is your writing? Let me ask you something. How confident would you be buying a meal from a food truck that is so rusted and smoke-stained that you can't even make out the name of the place that was once painted on the side? Or how confident would you be staying at a motel where the paint was peeling off the doors, maybe siding was missing from the building, and cracked windows were held together with duct tape? Or how confident would you be buying a car from an auto dealer whose windows were so dirty that you couldn't see through them and whose sign was missing a couple of letters? I bet your confidence wouldn't be very high in any of those situations. Well, how do you think a client would feel if, say, while looking for a designer, they came across a website that contained errors? I bet they would not feel too confident in hiring that person. And that's what I want to talk about today, making sure that your messaging doesn't contain errors. Now, let me give you a bit of a background here. The reason I decided to talk about this today is that earlier this week, someone sent me a message. Now, if you've ever reached out to me for whatever reason, there's a very good chance that I looked at your website. It's just something I do. Anytime someone emails me or contacts me on social media, I'll try to find their website and just have a look. I just like to see what they're up to and what they're building. And as I said, someone sent me a message earlier this week. And when I found their website, the very first thing that popped out at me was a spelling mistake. They had a hero image at the top of the site, and they had one line of copy that read, "I designs websites." Not "I design websites." "I designs" with an S, websites with an S. And that just jumped out at me. Now, other places on the website included passages that led me to believe that this person may not be a native English speaker, meaning English might not be their first language. But I'll touch more on that a little bit later. Now, even though this site was beautifully designed, very well-designed site, and this person had an amazing portfolio, man, I was just going through all their work and they do amazing work. Those spelling and grammar mistakes that I saw on the site still made me question this person's work. What sort of quality will they provide? Now imagine if I was an actual client looking for someone to build a website for my new business. Those errors, regardless of how pretty the website was and how great the portfolio looked, those errors may be enough for me to second guess this person and move on to maybe another web designer instead. But it's not just spelling or grammatical errors that can hinder your chance at landing clients. Another section of this exact same website described their services and how they work. They mentioned that the first thing they do is build a wireframe to show the client before building the website using WordPress. Elsewhere on the website, it said that their web hosting included a CDN. Now, if you're familiar with websites, then you know exactly what I just said. But again, imagine a client who doesn't know anything about websites other than the fact that they need one for their business. Wireframe, WordPress, CDN, these words don't mean anything to them. In fact, reading these things may cause them more confusion, which in turn may make them decide to look elsewhere for a web designer. Now, I talked about jargon in episode 217 of the podcast. Jargon is terminology that is common in certain industries, but maybe not so common once you get outside of those industries. Like, I'm a web designer, and I remember wondering what a wireframe was the very first time I heard somebody use that term. It wasn't until I understood what they were talking about that that term then became part of my vocabulary. Now, I'm not saying that you should never use jargon in your communication. But if you do, you should add some sort of clarity for anyone that's not familiar with those terms. For example, if I was to rewrite the previous examples, I might say something like, we start by building a wireframe, which is a mock-up layout of your website for you to approve before we start building the real thing in WordPress, a popular website platform powering over 60% of the world's websites. Or, our web hosting includes a CDN, a content delivery network that improves the efficiency and speed of your website and helps you rank higher in search engines. Isn't that much clearer? Even if the client doesn't recognize the jargon, they don't know what a wireframe, they've never heard that term, or they don't know what WordPress is, or have no idea what CDN means, they can still understand what it is you're saying because of the added description. As designers, people think that our job is to make things look good, and it is in part. But more importantly, a designer's job is to ensure that a message is told in a clear and understandable manner. Design is about communication. And if the message being communicated is confusing, then the person, company, or organization behind that message will be in question. But what can you do? Well, the first suggestion I have is simple. Everything you write should be run through a spell and grammar checker. A spell and grammar checker will help eliminate, 95% of the problems that you may encounter. But do keep in mind that that's not the end all of it. Spell checkers can only help you so much. They may be able to identify misspelled words, but they may not necessarily help you find incorrect words or offer better words you can use. Now, for that, I personally use a tool called Grammarly. Now, I've been using Grammarly for years now, and not only does it find all my spelling mistakes and grammar errors, but it also helps me improve my writing by suggesting alternatives to what I wrote. It helps me improve my writing by making me sound better, and I think that's well worth the small annual price. If you're interested in checking out Grammarly, if you don't already use it, you can visit resourcefuldesigner.com/Grammarly to find out more. Now, on a side note here, I once read a report that said that there were more errors per capita in newspaper headlines than there are in newspaper body copy. And for all you young ones out there who don't know, a newspaper is a physical sheet of printed paper containing news stories. They were delivered to your home daily or weekly and were very, very popular before the internet. But this report that I read said that on average, there was one error for every 1,000 words of body copy in a newspaper, but 4 errors for every 1,000 words of headline copy. And that's because most people don't read headlines. They skim over them. And that includes the people who are in charge of proofreading the newspapers. Most of them spend all their time reading the body copy to find errors, but they just skim over the headlines, often missing the mistakes. Anyways, I thought that was kind of interesting when I originally read it. Now, the other thing about spell checkers is they will not help you identify jargon. For that, you actually have to have someone read over your text and tell you if there are any problem areas. Now, we do this all the time in the resourceful designer community. People share their work and others will point out problem areas they detect. And then it's up to the designer to choose whether or not they want to make those changes. By the way, if you're interested, resourcefuldesigner.com/community is where you can find out more and join. But having someone else read your work is especially important for anyone where English isn't their first language. And this is probably the case with that website that I looked at earlier this week. The person probably wrote the copy themselves to the best of their ability, but the fact that they are not native English speakers is evident. And this may turn away potential clients. The more precise and accurate your writing, the more professional you'll appear, and the more willing clients will be to work with you. And it goes beyond just making sure you get the language right. Regional dialect also comes into play. For example, if you're targeting clients in North America, you may say something like, I design custom logos. However, if you're targeting clients in Europe, you may instead want to write, I design bespoke logos. Both words, custom and bespoke, mean the exact same thing. But custom is a more common term in North America, where, from my understanding, bespoke is often used in European countries. Simple things, such as the word color, is another example. You're going to want to spell it COLOR, or COLOUR, depending on who you're talking to. I'm in Canada, and anytime I'm looking for, say, a printer or some sort of service that I need, I'll take note of the spelling. And if I see COLOR, I know that it's probably an American company that I'm looking at, and that may make me search elsewhere to find somebody I can deal with in Canada. So keep in mind, if you're targeting the US, use US spelling. If you're targeting Canada or Britain or anywhere else that uses the British spelling, then use the British spelling. You only get one chance to make a first impression. And if you fail at that first chance because of poor writing, there's not much you can do to regain someone's trust. You will have lost that potential client possibly forever. So I suggest that you take some time this week or very soon and closely go over your website and your other marketing material, or better yet, have somebody else do it for you. Identify any problem areas or areas that may just need improvement and make changes. Every few months, I go over my podcast branding website and I tweak little things. I'll change a sentence here. I'll change a heading there. All to make it sound better in order to attract more clients. Again, the better you sound, the more professional you'll appear, and the better the chances are that potential clients will hire you. So don't lose out because of poor writing. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Now, one more time, I just want to remind you that Elegant Themes is currently having their anniversary sale, which means that you can get Divi Cloud for 40% off if you order the annual subscription. It's 20% off if you pay monthly. And I believe it's 20% off if you want to sign up for Divi right now, or if you want to upgrade your plan. If you've got an annual plan and you want to go to a lifetime plan, you can get 20% off of that. But to find out more, visit resourcefuldesigner.com/Divi Cloud. And from there, you can access all of it. So that's it for me this week. I'd like to put out another reminder. Last week, I put out a very short episode just putting out a call. If anybody wants to write an article to appear on Resourceful Designer blog, reach out to me at feedback@resourcefuldesigner.com. I would love to discuss the possibilities with you of providing content to help you get your name out, and it's something that you can put on your website that you've been published on Resourceful Designer. So thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you more about running a design business next week. But until then, I am Mark DeCote, wishing you all the best with your business, and as always, reminding you to stay creative.
Thanks for listening to the Resourceful Designer Podcast at resourcefuldesigner.com.